specific people in mind, like this walker for a little girl named Heidi.
Therapist felt that she was not going to be able to walk much longer because it was hurting her back. The existing walkers on the market just didn't cut it. They were totally ineffective for Heidi. So I think this design is perfect for her, and it keeps her body in constant alignment so that she can continue to walk.
Some area businesses donated more than $600 worth of materials. Some of the projects not made for specific children will be donated to groups that work with the physically handicapped. Terrific solutions for some very worthy causes. And speaking of...
It's a senior design competition today at the Orono campus. Among the creations were a specialized wheelchair for a person in a body cast, an exercise swing for a child with learning disabilities, and a side layer for people with no use of their arms and legs. All of the projects were carefully planned and built by small groups of mechanical engineering majors.
Engineering technology program making it a little bit easier for one group to exercise. Jeffrey Hope reports tonight on the project which is helping the physically challenged.
This corner of Dover Foxcroft's YMCA is a little easier to use tonight, and that's good news for the 50 members of the Physically Challenged Club who exercise here every Monday and Wednesday. Thanks to 7 engineering technology students, Juanita Strout can now easily work this station. She has multiple sclerosis and fibrositis, and her doctor tells her, do everything you can do. You couldn't have done this just a few hours ago. What's your first impression?
Well, this makes it a lot easier. We used to do it, but with the obstacle for the wheelchair, it was much more difficult. It was difficult to get positioned correctly. There wasn't as easy access, so this is going to be wonderful.
For the engineering students, this was a fairly simple project. They had to figure out how to make the seat here removable so the wheelchairs could wheel in. But it also turned out to be a lesson in liability.
We learned a lot about what has to go into formulating a new project like this, getting attorneys' letters as far as you don't want anybody to be, we didn't want to be liable if anything happened, and there were other people who didn't want to be liable. We had to take care of that.
The students will step into graduation gowns and receive diplomas for their work this weekend. Today they watched the physically challenged use their project and take their own steps towards independence. Jeffrey Hope, Channel 5 News, Dover Foxcroft.
Full product for those less fortunate today. Gina Clark has more.
They're eliminating metal pieces and tightening screws. These UMaine undergraduate students are modifying exercise equipment to give greater accessibility to the physically challenged.
We went through a couple different designs, and the best design was to make it so the seat could be removed easy so the wheelchair could get in so they could do the exercise proper, because the way that it was doing it wasn't they weren't benefiting anyway.
This project, thought up by 5 Orono students, started off as part of a senior design product, but ended up teaching the budding engineers much more than they realized.
You realize, how important this will be to them, which we take for everyday granted. It'll really help them in the long run.
And how did the modifications impress those using it?
I love it. I absolutely love it.
The physically challenged here today say they're more than grateful for the students modifying this equipment. Not only is it keeping them fit, it's also giving them a new lease on life.
Anything that you want to do, you can notice the difference because your resistance is better. You can have more strength to do. Your muscles are in better condition.
If I didn't, I'd be in my wheelchair all the time.
In Dover Foxcroft, this is Gina Clark, News Channel 7.